When introducing new Transformers characters, sometimes a new gimmick is attached to them, more than just in the ability to go from robot to a vehicle and back. The Transformers franchise first expanded with insects and dinosaurs. With their next team, the Constructicons, we're introduced to a new ability, combining.
Prepare to meet your doom. Nothing can withstand the might of Devastator.
Help support the channel by contributing on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help us bring you more content like this. Coming originally from Diaclone's construction vehicle Robo-Toys, the Constructicons were introduced within the first waves of the 1985 toy line, with a unified green and purple color scheme. Merging to form Devastator, this popular Decepticon team made their debut in the cartoon episode Heavy Metal War. Their origin is one many have questioned. In fact, I covered it in my third Transformers discussion. When combined, the minds of the individual Constructicons clash slightly, resulting in Devastator being a warrior of rage. The creators of the cartoon even synthesized his voice, making it sound as if there were multiple robots talking.
It is Optimus Prime and no way out.
While immensely powerful, Devastator's fury would end up being his weakness, as a distraction would usually end with his defeat. Within the first few waves of the toys of 1986 were 4 new sets of toys. 2 Autobot teams and 2 Decepticon teams were released with a new combining mechanic, one that was very different than the Constructicons. Instead of 6 smaller toys that come with parts to merge into one, these, while each initially sold separately, were sets of 5. They consisted of a larger toy that could also form the torso, while the other 4 become limbs for the combiner. What made these 4 teams unique, in addition to the team leader's ability to transform into a base mode, was the fact that the combiner ports were interchangeable, allowing for the combiner to be assembled any which way someone desired. This also meant that a limb could also be used on any of the 4 other torsos. I don't recommend this though, as I did lose the head of Wild Rider in Onslaught's arm as a kid. The limbs could also attach to similar ports on the original Metroplex. Outside of the ability to combine, the interchangeability of the limbs was not shown in fiction, at least not here in the US. In Japan, a special episode was made called Scramble City, referring to Metroplex's toy feature of having ports for combiner limbs. It took place after Season 2, but before the movie. While it served as the Japanese introduction to Ultra Magnus, Metroplex, and Trypticon, it also served as an advertisement of the gimmick that all 4 teams' combiner limbs could switch around with one another, and could be used on other teams with interesting results. Because of this, the 4 teams, and future combiners with similar playstyles, are sometimes called Scramble City style combiners by longtime fans. The original cartoon would first introduce them at the tail end of Season 2. The 2-part episode, The Key to Vector Sigma, would have Megatron build new Decepticons out of 4 stolen cars and a tractor-trailer. He dubbed them the Stunticons, in order to counter the fact that the Autobots mostly consisted of cars.
What are you gonna do? They practically rule the road? That's something I'm going to have to change.
While the Decepticons were mostly jets, or just had the ability to fly, which is a discussion for another day. To give them life, he needed to travel to Vector Sigma, the supercomputer that, according to the cartoon, gives all Transformers life.
Before Cybertron was, I was.
I talked more about Vector Sigma in my Primus and the Quintessons video. Vector Sigma would give life to the 5 Stunticons: Dead End, Breakdown, Wild Rider, Dragstrip, and the merciless team leader, Motormaster, would be sent to Earth with a path of destruction in their wake. To counter them,
Megatron's been battling us on the roads. We'll fight him in the skies.
the Autobots constructed the Aerialbots and gave them life using Vector Sigma. Air Raid, Skydive, Fireflight, Slingshot, and their leader, Silverbolt, would fly into battle against the Stunticons.
You wanna play chicken?
They would then battle in their combined forms. The Stunticons merged to form Menasor, whose brute force almost bested the Aerialbots' combined form of Superion, before Omega Supreme came in for the save. In the episode Starscream's Brigade, Starscream created his own unit out of leftover World War II vehicles. Using the sparks and personality components of renegade Decepticons, which were locked away on Cybertron and appear to be stored in Energon cubes to keep them alive, Starscream gave life to the Combaticons. Brawl, Swindle, Blastoff, Vortex, and their brilliant leader, Onslaught, were shown to be an effective battle unit. Their combined form, Bruticus, Devastator, could even beat Devastator. However, when the Stunticons arrived, they merged into Menasor and took out Bruticus. The following episode, The Revenge of Bruticus, would introduce the next team, the Protectobots. Streetwise, Groove, First Aid, Blades, and their leader, Hotspot, had their own base and acted as a rescue squad for the Autobots. This team was probably what inspired the creation of the more recent Rescue Bots, except that the Protectobots would also join the Autobots in battle as well. In BOT, this episode, their merged form, Defensor, was able to best Bruticus.
All sanitation. There's junk all over the street.
And he can also create a force field similar to Trailbreaker. In the comics, after the Constructicons were built by Shockwave, the Autobots were able to copy the technology during a battle against Devastator to create the Aerialbots. Optimus Prime would give life to them using the creation matrix. However, Megatron was able to use that energy to create the Stunticons, thanks to a Cerebro shell from Bombshell injected into Optimus Prime. The Protectobots and Combaticons, however, would simply be present alongside Optimus Prime and Megatron in After Death, the issue showing the first comics death of Optimus Prime. After these four teams were introduced, the door was opened for more combiners to be added to the mix. The Predacons, Headstrong, Tantrum, Rampage, Divebomb, and their leader, Razorclaw, could merge to form Predaking.
Predacons merge to become Predaking!
This wild Decepticon team would have several run-ins with the Autobot shuttle Skylynx, who could transform into a giant lynx and a flying bird-like creature that merged to form a bird-like lynx beast, even though he is considered neither a Dinobot nor a combiner.
Nevertheless, I am definitely not a Dinobot. I refuse to participate in this kangaroo court.
The Technobots, comprising of Lightspeed, Nosecone, Afterburner, Strafe, and their leader Scattershot, merged to form the walking computer Computron.
Estimated probability of victory in 1-to-1 combat, 48.027%.
They would battle the monstrous Terracons, who were made up of Sinner-Twin, Blot, Cutthroat, Ripper Snapper, and their leader Hunger, as they merged to form Abominus. After the cartoon ended, that didn't stop Hasbro, or even Takara for that matter, from releasing even more combiners. Since the comic was still ongoing, new toys were quickly introduced, even if only briefly. This included the Seacons, Tentakill, Scalor, Seawing, Overbite, Nautilator, and their leader, Snaptrap, merged to form Piranacon. Being a Scramble City style combiner, one of the Seacons was forced to become Piranacon's blaster. This meant Piranacon was a Target Master combiner. In addition, Blaster and Soundwave received a new set of cassettes as well. The Autobots Grand Slam and Rain Dance converge to form Slam Dance, while the Decepticons Beast Box and Squawk Talk can combine into Squawk Box. In Japanese continuity, the last of the Diaclone toys were released as the Trainbots. Getsui, Keian, Saizen, Yukikaze, Suiken, and their leader, Shuki, merged to form Raiden, and served as a replacement for Skylynx, who was not initially released in Japan due to him being owned by a rival toy company. In Transformers Victory, several combiners were released, such as Road Caesar, Dino King, and one of my personal favorites, Lio Kaiser. Also, a group of Autobots known as the Multiforce could combine with one of their teammates, or all 6 of them could form Landcross. Almost every Transformers series since has seen combiners in some form or fashion, and usually comprises of a team, most of the time with a common theme that merge to form a larger and more powerful robot. While not always shown in fiction, each group of toys always provided a lot of fun playability. In Beast Wars, 2 sets of combiners were released. The Maximals had Prowl, Ironhide, and Silverbolt merged to form Magnaboss, while the Predacons would have Ramhorn, C-Clamp, and Cicadacon merged to form Tripredacus. The 2 groups didn't exactly appear in the cartoon, but did appear, however, in Fun Publications' Tales, which was a Collectors Club exclusive. It was revealed that the Tripredacus Council seen in the 3-part Season 2 finale, The Agenda, was in fact meant to be the Combiner toy, but mention of them was cut for time. In Japan's Beast Wars sequel series, Beast Wars II and Beast Wars Neo, Tripredacus was recolored and used as a Maximal team. The Space Pirate Seacons, while just being a repaint of the original G1 Seacons minus Nautilator, would be a team that neither the Maximals nor Predacons could trust. Terramander, Sea Phantom, Scylla, Coagulon, and their leader, Halfshell, could merge to form God Neptune. Take note that Scylla, whom happens to be a female Transformer, is so love-starved that she will abandon her teammates in battle to pursue the affections of the Maximal Scuba. The anime Car Robots, translated as Robots in Disguise in 2001, would also bring combiners into the mix. The Team Bullet Train consisted of the Autobots Midnight Express, Rapid Run, and Railspike. The 3 could combine to form Rail Racer. The Autobots build team consisted of Heavy Load, Hightower, Grimlock, and their leader Wedge. They can merge to form Landfill. You heard right on that name about Grimlock. The name reuse might have been out of place for not being one of the Dinobots, but the 2015 Robots in Disguise cartoon decided to pay homage to this version of Grimlock by having their Dinobot on Bumblebee's team sport a similar green color scheme. He even uses a crane as a disguise since his Dino mode stands out like a sore thumb. Back to 2001's Robots in Disguise, the Predacons would steal Autobot protoforms inside stasis pods, and Megatron would use his Dark Spark to reprogram them into the Decepticons. One of the most notable was Scourge. When scanning for his vehicle mode, a tanker truck and Optimus Prime were both scanned, making him a dark twin of Prime. This spawned future Transformer series to continue making a series of Nemesis Primes, but that is a discussion for another day. The other Decepticons were the Commandos. Toy-wise, they were just a repaint of G1 Bruticus with some slight modifications. Armorhide, Movor, Rollbar, Rotor, and their leader, Mega Octane, merge into the merciless Ruination. The Unicron trilogy brought in many different ways Transformers could combine. In addition to combining with his trailer, Optimus could merge with Jetfire to become Jet Optimus, and with Overload, giving him shoulder-mounted blasters. When both are merged with him, while not named, I refer to them as Jetpan Super Shoulders Prime. Megatron, likewise, could also combine with Tidal Wave for flight and extra firepower. The Minicon Street Team would serve as the human companions. Grindor, Sureshock, and Highwire could merge to form the terribly misnamed Perceptor. Other Minicon teams could also merge to form the Star Saber, the Requiem Blaster, and the Skyboom Shield. In Energon, thanks to the spark of combination given to them by Primus, almost every Autobot can combine with one another. This made the use of transformation stock footage one of the most annoying things ever. This was similar to how the Multiforce combined in Victory. In addition, in homage to the G1 Scramble City Transformers, 3 teams of combiners were introduced. In fiction, they're only depicted as a team leader with 4 non-speaking limbs, though their toy bios say otherwise. The Autobot Superion Maximus would battle the Decepticons Bruticus Maximus and Constructicon Maximus. In the live-action films, the Constructicons would appear in the film Revenge of the Fallen. Instead of being part of their combined form, they instead appear during the battles and would die individually. Other Constructicons with similar vehicle modes merge into a garbage heap monstrosity known as Devastator. Thanks to Agent Simmons, radioing a nearby US aircraft carrier, Devastator is killed by an experimental railgun. Sometimes the question arises, what is a combiner? While we have all these examples, and I haven't even covered all of them, not all Transformers made of many parts can be considered a combiner. Most of the time, we usually refer to combiners as being a group of Transformers that merge into a single machine. This would not only include Superion and Devastator, but also weapons like Starsaber and the Skyboom Shield. What is not considered a combiner would be Transformers that use more than one part for their alternate mode. This would include the original Skylynx and the original Omega Supreme, since they are considered one individual in control of multiple bodies. The same could be said about the Duocons, Flywheels and Battletrap, though now their new toys have changed that. Reflector, while sometimes depicted as 3 separate individuals, has a single alt mode of a camera, and is usually referred to the sum of their parts.
Okay, Reflector. Let's see what you can see.
Making him not a combiner. The Power Core combiners, which have a single Transformer merge with controlled drones to form a combiner like Super Robot, have many confused. Because of their mindless drones, and even though they have combiners in their name, they are not considered combiners. This would mean that Grimstone, a Power Core combiner with 4 Dinobot drones, was not the first official Dinobot combiner.
What is also not a combiner is when a Transformer has a powered-up super mode.
Power Master Optimus Prime and Energon Bulkhead are great examples of this. And last but not least, is this unmentionable thing. But what do you think? What do you consider to be and not to be a combiner? Should all Transformers have this ability? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. My next Transformers discussion video will cover more combiners and their various origins. I also want to thank my patrons for supporting the channel. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook as well. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
No, Starscream, not Bruticus. It's Megatron, your leader.